Welcome to Lean and Clean with Fitness Chef Christine. I am Christine, your host, and today I have my very good friend Jaimie Bee with us. She is the queen of books. Okay, I read a lot. She reads a lot more. Not only does she read, but she also edits and she gives amazing reviews. How many reviews do you have on Amazon now, Jaimie?
I've got over 8,000. Over 8,000.
8,000 reviews. That's freaking amazing. Okay, so what I want you to tell our audience is how did you become this book queen? Like, how did you get there? What did you just
Well,
always love books?
I come from like a reading family, like literally through the generations, and books, like special books, have been passed down through the generations. Like I have my great grandfather's books that he won the 1880s when he was at university. He won them as some sort of prize. And so I have these
Mhm.
great old books, and they've just been passed down the paternal line. And since I had the greatest interest in books, and we had no more boys, we didn't have any
Right.
boys in our family, so I was like, I got the books.
I love
So
it.
that was so fun.
And
But it
so,
just started like as a kid, just like we were readers. My parents read to us. They encouraged us, like you remember like when the Scholastic book
yeah,
things
yeah,
would come out. We weren't necessarily a rich family, but my parents were like, if you want to buy a book, you can pick one book from the Scholastic thing each
right.
time it came out. And so that's how this started. Like, ooh, what do I want? And plus the school libraries just had so many great things.
I know. I feel like libraries just aren't what they used to be. Like it was like a magical place to visit when I was a kid. Oh my gosh, look at all these books and trying to figure out the card catalog and then hunting for the book. And I'm dating myself, but I always thought it was like a really cool experience.
Oh, it was a huge like adventure. We had one
Yeah,
smaller branch, like where was very close where we lived, but we had the big county branch. And I
yeah,
just remember like the excitement and yes, the card catalogs and trying to find things.
right.
And the reference librarians were always like so good. You could just ask them any random question. I'm looking for a book on,
And they knew.
and they just knew.
Yeah.
They didn't have to look. They just took you there.
So one of my dreams when I was a kid was to work at a bookstore because I just thought that was the coolest thing. I would shop at the used bookstore all the time, so they were very inexpensive, and I would come home with a bunch of books. And then when I was pregnant, I was put on bed rest, and my neighbor used to bring me, the paper bags that you get at grocery stores filled with romance novels. And I had never read romance novels. So now I'm flat on my back with an IV pole hanging off my thing for months at a time. So I read and read every genre because there were different romance novels. Like some were like in the 1800s and then in the Scottish mountains. And oh my gosh, I loved it. I felt like every day was a new adventure. I was stuck in bed rest.
That's
So it was like my mind was like a movie. It was great. And then I was hooked. I, oh my gosh, the worst thing that ever happened to me was Kindle because then I could just get them in a moment's notice. And then I stay up all night and read. I'm like, why am I so tired? Did I get any sleep?
yes, exactly.
It's
I
a lot.
understand all of that
I
completely.
know you do.
Completely.
And your sister's an author. And I think you may be an author as well. Am I correct?
Yes, I am
Well,
indeed.
I got to find out what's the name of the book.
I think it's so bad. I should know this.
What do you mean
It's
you
like
think?
it's 5 or 6 books.
My
I
goodness.
should know the number. I should know the number. Know that. But I started actually with cookbooks,
Oh,
something we have in
yeah. Now
common.
you're talking my language. I never knew how difficult it was to get your book. So I have no problem writing the cookbook, but when I send it off to be like hard copy or spiral bound, the price was astronomical to the point
Yes.
where the cookbook was so expensive I couldn't like in my heart sell it to anybody. And I know, so I just sold it as a PDF because and I love hard cook. I have 500 cookbooks. I love them all, but that was so much to ask people to spend for, it's my life's work, but at the same time, I'm like, I just can't. And it wasn't
Yes.
pretty. It was somewhat pretty, but it wasn't as pretty as I wanted it to be. So that's one thing I want to bug you about is how I can make a pretty cookbook. So that's our adventure to come.
I have bad news for you. I don't make pretty cookbooks.
Guess what, girl? I have good news for you. We're going to do
Do
it together.
Ooh.
Mhm. I'm throwing down the challenge. It's gonna be happening. You and me,
Wow.
we're gonna do it.
I love it.
I have all the recipes. It just has to be pretty. You gotta have pictures taken, but nothing we can't figure out. So
There you go. I like that attitude. Like
I
it.
think as ladies, sometimes we dream and we think about things and we want it to happen, but we don't really ever take action. And if there's one thing I'm good at, it's taking action. Might be super messy action, it might be the wrong action, it might be leaping before I look, but I always do it. I just keep rolling. So
Love it.
I'm
Love
gonna,
it.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna drag you along with me in this. So what is your all-time favorite book? If you had to pick only one book for the rest of your life, what would you pick?
Have to be Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen.
Very good book. Very good book. I have a couple from childhood that I always love. I mean, I always love Louisa May Alcott, but I
Oh,
don't love
yes.
the ones that everybody else loves. I love like probably titles that not as many people have read. So I loved her Old Fashioned Girl. And like I said, it played like a movie. I read it when I was a teenager. I was babysitting for somebody and they had it like on the side table and they're like, if you like it, you could take it home. It's like, oh, this is better than pay. So just I love it all. And I pass it down. My daughter owns a theater and she reads constantly, whether it's scripts or books or all that stuff. She got the reading gene thing.
Love that.
And I know this because we share a Kindle and I see all the books she buys. So
How
yeah.
can you share a Kindle? I can't even fathom that.
Well, because we both read the same book. So we'll read the same book and then we'll come back
Oh,
together and say, did you like it? Did you not like it? So rather than buy two copies of it, we share the same Kindle. But then she has a lot of genres that I don't read because I'm not really into theater. So she'll read like this playwright and his life story. And I'm like, "Phew, that does not interest me at all. Now the life of a chef, that I'll read. So we have the same interest and then we have our separate interests. So it works great.
there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
So I am in, I think, three book clubs. So I'm in the Money Circle of Yours, which I love. Activating new writing, I have been a slug. The timing just never works out for me, but that doesn't mean you haven't inspired me a ton to write. So
Good.
everybody listening, Jaimie is so inspirational and getting you to write. And so she has this great group, and I'm going to share the links with your permission or
Of course.
however they can try to join to do that because I think it's so beneficial for people like me who have a ton of ideas but need to get those ideas down on paper. So the Money Circle, and then I do a self-help book club live and in person once a month. And so this month they picked a book called it was called Mindful Eating. And I think I've read every nutrition book out there. So I was like, it was a snooze fest. We always pick up something new and something interesting. So I shouldn't really say that's not very nice, but true.
I have kind of the same sort of thing for music books because like I've played like piano since forever and I still pick up music books, even sometimes even beginner type, because sometimes what they say is, oh, I haven't heard that, or B, oh, that puts a good spin on it
Yeah,
that helps me appreciate a different angle.
for sure. All right. So this
Yeah.
is going to show me like I'm a super book nerd, but I was going by in their plaza because I live out in the country. We have one grocery store there and they have the like donation bins, but the donation bin was full and somebody dropped off a whole box of books and it was starting to rain. And my book heart was like, oh no, they're all going to be ruined.
We
So,
gotta rescue the books.
so I had like a empty garbage bag, brand new garbage bag in my back of my car. So I was like, I'm just going to go cover them so they're not ruined, put the whole box in the bag. So I go over there and the first one's a cookbook and the second one's a cookbook. And I'm like, oh no, oh no. I'm like, oh, I want this one and I want that one. So then I was like, no, Chris, you gotta stop. So the rest of them I just wrapped up and nice and neat, so they didn't get ruined. But whew, could have been a cookbook emergency. Could have been a bad thing.
It wasn't the saving of the books, but I had a similar experience when I discovered that like my street, we actually have one of those like tiny little libraries. And I go, oh, I
Uh-huh.
gotta check that out. Went and I opened it up and it's just like, oh my goodness, cookbooks,
Yeah,
classics,
yeah.
my favorite stuff, crafts. Just gotta
I
leave
know.
some for other people, gotta leave some for other
It's
people.
but the good thing is with those you can drop some off too. Like you can make it go around.
Yes.
So my
Yes,
husband actually
exactly.
builds those boxes that you do buy a book, take a book, whatever.
Oh,
Not take a book and
nice.
drop a book off or whatever. So he just built one for some teachers that were looking to have a book swap.
Oh,
So
nice.
yeah. So I
Cool.
haven't had him build me any more bookshelves because he's been so busy, but I really desperately need some. So if you had a person that was not really a reader, like they just didn't really get into reading, what would you recommend for them to get them kind of a spark of interest?
I think the first thing to do is like figure out in broad terms what you like. Say if you're a movie person, you might appreciate fiction.
Right,
If you are interested in self-help, you've had coaches or seen a therapist, you might be more interested in nonfiction.
right,
So, first big broad things. And then from there, you just explore, okay, what are my favorite movies? Or what are the topics I'm interested in? And for me, I find the older I get, the more I love audiobooks because
yeah,
like sometimes my brain just doesn't like track for too long. If I'm reading a book, oh, I don't go back and read that paragraph again. But the audiobook just pulls me right along and I can just like again, depending what I'm doing during the day and how loud what it is I'm doing, I
right.
could listen to one audiobook in a day and just
Oh,
knock
I
out a
know.
book.
Oh yeah. It's been great for me because I'm driving all the time. So
There you
I,
go.
and it wasn't until, so for the audience, Jamie and I both belong to same similar groups. We're both in Find Your Story, we're both in Find Your Voice, we're both in the Wealth Experiment, which and my People Party stuff. We have a lot of cross interests, but I forgot where I was going with this. Lost my thought for a second. Hold on, it'll come back. I lost it. Yikes. But anyways,
Something how
because
we're
we're
all
in all these
we're
groups,
connected through
yes,
things.
because we're all connected in these things. This is the first time in my life that I have really taken a look at wealth building books or investing books because I really, that's not my first love, even though I have a degree in finance, marketing. I really, from personal standpoint, I'm like, I had to learn that stuff before. But boy, it's been super interesting. The book that we've been reading about investing like a second grader and just really, I mean, I don't want to say dumbing it down, but making it so that everybody can understand it. It's been really interesting to me and really taking a look at my investments. And because I had everything on autopilot for years and just I put the money in, I just every once in a while check the balance, but I don't
Right.
want to be too attached to the balance because everything goes up and down.
Oh
And
yeah.
so it's been, but the understanding of it is important. And it's so much better now. And
Yes.
I had such an interest in it. And on that side, like the investment side and the money books that you suggested have really helped. And then on the other side, we've been doing Rewrite Your Money Story. So I've been really more conscious of what am I spending? How do I feel about it? So it's been really good, like to do
Yes.
both. Have you found that too?
Yes, to have like the synergy of both.
Yeah.
Because one of it's like we're kind of like looking outside, right? We're reading these outside books about what we can do, but
Yeah.
we're also kind of like working on our own personal thing. Like, what if we do have these weird ideas that we don't even realize we have that are like
Right.
holding us back because, oh, I'm talking bad about money to myself. That's not a good way to approach money. And then to get some like solid skills too from the book. So it's like a perfect coming together.
Yeah, it's been a good blend. It was funny. We've been doing all this inner work on money and stuff. And I was thinking the other night, I was laying in bed, one of my little insomnia attacks, thinking about how my dad said, I picked your brother to when I died, he passed away and he knew he was going to. So he said, I picked your brother to be the executor of the will. He's better with money than you are. And it really stung, but he wasn't wrong. My brother is very frugal and he's very good. I am like, a woo, let's buy it. It's just how I've been. And he wasn't wrong, but that did stick with me.
Oh,
And
heck yeah, it would.
that made me feel like, oh, wait, I'm not good with money. Okay, I'm not good with money. But now I'm coming around. I'm coming around. I'm getting better. And all the books that you've been recommending have been really helpful. So for our audience, what are your recommendations for somebody who's just interested in learning more about investing and money? And I know that we're doing as a group the what is it called? The second grader book. The
I know I always forget the long title, so
oh,
I
I'm
always
gonna
just call
look.
it the second grader book.
Yeah,
It's
I'm gonna look it up.
How a Second Grader Beats Wall Street.
Thank you. Thank you. I have it. I've been reading it, but I can't remember the name to say that. All I remember is second
It's
grader.
long. It's long.
Yeah. The menopause brain is like only can handle so much. And what are some other books you think that would be good for somebody just starting out?
It really depends what you're interested in or what your money, I won't call them problems, what your money issues or challenges are.
Right.
So say if you got, say, crushing credit card debt, it's great to look at a debt repayment schedule book, and there's like just tons of them out
Maybe
there,
like a Dave
different ways to
Ramsey book.
approach bringing
Hmm.
that down. And I don't know if I have a specific title because I'm that's something that I'm beyond. So I
Right.
haven't had.
Well, I always say it to if you're huge in that, Dave Ramsey is a good place to start because he's got all those schedules. You can go
Yes.
online and figure it all out. So that's always good.
And he
Um,
gives you like a set pattern. Do this first, take these
yeah,
steps,
yeah.
the thing.
That's not so overwhelming.
Yeah, because it can just, especially if your numbers are big, that stuff
Yeah,
can be scary.
yeah.
And it does just eat up so much.
And it
You
adds up
know?
so fast. Like you don't even realize until you sit down and really analyze stuff. Sometimes you don't even realize how much it got. There
Yes,
was a time in my
yes.
life where I had both kids in college and I paid cash for their college. And then they had small student loans, but nothing huge. We paid those off. So we had student loans, we had mortgages, we had cars, we had medical. I think back and I thought, my gosh, I don't know how we did it. Like, I really don't know how we did it. Crazy.
Absolutely,
And you look
absolutely.
back, oh, go me. I survived. But
So
I,
survived? Yes,
so
exactly.
are we going to be ready to retire at 65? I don't think so. I think we're going to keep working until we're like 70 because we're used to a certain lifestyle and I don't really want to give it up. Y'all are
Yeah,
stuck with me till I'm old.
and if you're healthy, you can just look at that as a positive thing. It's not that I have to work until I'm 70. I get to work because I
I
love what I do.
Oh, I love that. That's perfect. And that's true. And that's part of the reason that I have my menopause fat loss group and I have the group on recipes because I think if we want that long-term health, we need to make the investment now. You
Oh,
got to
heck
get
yeah.
your nutrition under control and you got to get some movement in every day, even if it's just a walk to the mailbox and back. It doesn't have to be huge changes, little changes make a huge difference, just like
Exactly.
any area of our life.
And when I was a nurse in the hospital, because I've been like a
Mhm.
nurse in a hospital and a clinic, nurse at the hospital, it was amazing because I swear I could tell the people who, quote, took care of themselves,
Yeah.
who were active, who ate well, and who conversely did not.
Yeah.
So many people I saw, especially in the hospital, my goodness, I knew their age from the computer, but looking at them, like, oh my, this life has not been easy on you, or you've chosen options that weren't.
Right.
And I still
Right.
can remember this one that was like plus 90 plus, and he would have thought he was 70. He was a farmer. So he
Mm,
was like super active, still farming at 90 plus.
that's
And
amazing.
he would just all
That's
his
going to
mental
be me.
faculties.
I really want it to be because I tell you, my grandfather lived to 103. My grandma and he was active all the time, active. And I really think that makes a difference. Like it wasn't
Yes,
like between maybe like 102 and he was almost 104. Between those 2 years, I think he was starting to lose it a little bit because he didn't realize some of his kids had died and he was asking about people that were no longer there. But he could remember stories from when he was a child in the Great Depression, buildings that he
yep,
built, he's
yep.
an architect. I mean, all that cognitive there, and he was still mobile. Like he never needed a wheelchair or anything. It was unbelievable. And my grandmother, his wife, lived to her late 90s. Same thing. Was just stood
Fantastic.
up right up into the end. And then my parents, my mom was only 67 when she passed away, and my dad was 74, I think. Different generation, but
Yes,
it's my goal to live as long as God has in store for me, as mobile as I can be. I just want
there
to
you
keep on
go.
trucking. And I'm
There you go.
so inspired by the ladies that I teach and the men for water fitness. They're in their mid 80s, 90s, trucking along. I'm like, yeah, go.
Good for them. Good
Yeah,
for
it's
them.
pretty awesome. Sometimes some of them come in their wheelchairs and they get right up to the water and get down in there, but they're always working. Sometimes it's just their mouth working. They're in the water. They travel in and out of the pool. It's a blessing. It's
Good for
great. And
them.
so they inspire me because that's,
Yeah, I remember when I lived in Fort Bragg, California, Northern California coast, and I would go to the gym there, and there was this woman. I was probably in my late 30s, early 40s at the time,
well,
and
you
she is
still look like you're
probably
in your
like,
30s.
and so way back then. She was probably like 65-ish. And I just remember like how inspiring she was because
Yeah.
she was very quiet. She just did her thing. And she showed up every day and she was doing all the machines and she was doing everything. I'm like, I want to be you when I am. I want to just keep showing up and keep doing it.
Yeah.
So I still even think of her now, even though it's been like a while. I still
I mean,
think of
there are a
her.
lot of people because the Y has a gym when you first walk in, you have to walk past it to go to the pool. And I always look and there's all these older people trucking along on the bikes and on the rowing machines. And I'm like, yeah, keep going. It's awesome. And
Absolutely.
even because I live out so far, I don't get to the gym as often. I bought myself a Pilates reformer to work out at home. I have weights and it's just a part of my life now because I don't want to. I know that if I don't use my leg muscles, I'm going to lose them because
Yes.
they're so bad. So I do everything I can. I work out as much as I can on my lower body. And then comes a day, I'm like, okay, today I need a break because it's too painful.
Yes, you've
But
got to listen to that as well.
yeah, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes I'm like, ah, I'm okay. I'm like, oh Lord, I can't sleep at all because my legs hurt.
Yeah, I
But
had a thing that I had a hard fall the end of December, but my sister, Betsy Mataro, she teaches yoga.
yeah,
And I had done like her yoga challenge like back in September. And some list things are painful. It was really hard, especially the first couple of days, like doing anything. Everything was a struggle. Everything was a struggle. And but like when I would get up in the morning, I was like, what can I do before I even get out of bed with the yoga stuff that she taught me?
yes,
And
perfect.
so I think that really helped me.
Oh,
It was still a
absolutely.
weird progression, but I'm just like, yeah, I'm feeling a bit more flexible. I'm getting some of the flexibility back so that I don't focus on the pain areas. It
But
was helpful. It was so helpful to have.
the good thing is that you did it before your fall because then your core was at least stronger. So my yoga teacher had to have an operation, and they said because her core was so strong, it was much easier recovery period.
Nice.
Because when you
Nice.
let yourself go and your muscles are all loose, you don't have enough strength to lift yourself up or move around. So I am all for strength. And
Yes,
that's my other
absolutely.
nerdy thing is I read all these nutrition books and fitness books and but it cracks me up because I have all these certifications, but every time you go to a class, it contradicts the class you've been to before and the one you're going to next because
Of
none of the
course.
experts can ever agree. Never. It makes me crazy. I'm like, y'all need to get together. But everybody has an opinion and they have science to back it up, which really makes me bananas because wait, if you're right and you have science back it up, and you're right and you have science back it up, somebody's not right because you're opposite. For instance, I go to one, it's the same thing with books. You go to one and they're like, fasting. Fasting is the way to go. You need, autophagy to heal your body. And then the next person's, you don't want to fast if you're over 50 because you need to eat breakfast in the morning and get those healthy fats and get that protein in there to balance your hormones. So you're left like, okay, you're both PhDs. Could you just tell this little old coach which is the way to go? Because I'm out here trying to help people. So it just makes me laugh. So, and then the books I have from 20 years ago when I started my certifications completely are out of, they're talking eat nothing but grains. And now if you do, that's not going to help you at all. So it's just interesting. I love now the cookbooks I love are the one that my grandmother had because it's high fat everything and they're phenomenal. And seriously, because that's how we're getting back to now. That's what they say. We need high fats to help our brains. That's going to overcome the Alzheimer's and the dementia and everything else. So there's something to say that they lived in the hundreds and they were eating that way. So I asked my cousin, because my cousin, she has all the cookbooks, but nobody will share them with me. But I know what she had. Like I know the names of them. So I'm on the hunt to get the list, get all of them.
And I think back then too, it wasn't just like the fat like you're mentioning, but they actually ate real food.
Yeah, it's hard to find now. We have
Yes.
food-like products everywhere. And
Yes.
that's why I like to go to the farmer's market because at least I get to talk to the farmer and I know where the food came from and I can see it's funny because they have the pictures of the cows and we just recently bought a half a cow, so it's a lot of meat. But and the vegetables, I know how they're grown. I can drive by their farms. And I did,
Right.
God bless me, I did try to have a garden and I was so happy. My zucchinis were looking beautiful. And then I came out the next day and they were all gone. Something ate them, all of them, down to the
Oh,
stump. I was like, what happened?
oh my
I was
goodness.
like, should I pick them tonight? No, I'll wait till the morning because they're probably, yeah. Same thing happened to my fig tree. It was completely bare the next day. I was like,
Yeah, I bet. Oh my
so I've
goodness.
decided that it's nice to help the local economy and just go buy them from the other farmers. Good. Happy with that. No, I don't know, but I do still love to read all the nutrition. I still love to read all the fitness stuff, the up and coming stuff, because over time things definitely change. But the fact remains that if we're eating real food, which is harder to find,
Very
at
hard.
least our body knows how to metabolize that. Even if we don't pick the best choices, at least it's, oh, I recognize this is a food.
Oh, it's so funny. Just when you mentioned that, it brought up something. I remember just again decades ago, like having that talk with a nutritionist because I'm diabetic,
Hmm.
and she said something along the lines. Now, when you have X, Y, and Z, it should be cooked like this. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's going to take too long. Should I just cook it the way that makes sense for me and eat it? Because it's better to eat that broccoli than it is to eat some other quick snack.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I think, unfortunately, some of the nutritionists, they go by the book. So when my kids
right,
were little, I took them to a nutritionist because the doctor told me my kids were overweight for their ages. And she brought out a plate. And she said a quarter of it needs to be protein, quarter of it needs to be some dairy, and
right.
half eats vegetables. Like, lady, no 10-year-old is going to eat a half of a plate of vegetables. I'm lucky if I can get them to eat a couple bites of broccoli here. My son loved green beans, but the thing was, now I know better. The kids should have been having a lot more protein and less of the vegetables, less of the fruits, have more healthy fats. Like things have changed. But you're right. Make it
Right.
easy for people. And so when I
Yes.
coach people, I tell them be boring. Eat the same meals a couple days in a row before you have to change it up. If you know it's healthy one day, it's going to be healthy the next day. Don't spend all the time trying to figure it all out. Everybody likes variety, but make your life easy.
And like I'm a massive fan of like leftovers. I am so
Yeah,
good with that.
because then you don't have to figure it out again. You're like, okay,
Yeah,
it's done. And then I can stop
done. Warm it
obsessing
up.
about it. Like my husband's like, why do we have all these cookbooks? You cook the same things all the time. I'm like, yeah, but I cook them differently all the time. And there's that. But the thing is, I actually enjoy reading cookbooks, like
Me
reading
too.
about what the recipe came from, reading about someone's grandma that developed it. Or what I that. And then
Yes.
I'm not tied to it because if I'm reading a book, I have to read the whole thing as quickly as possible. But if you're reading a cookbook, you can read a recipe and you can put it down. You can come back later and read it. It's not, you're not like sucked in.
And sometimes I find I just get inspired in different ways.
Yes.
Again, I have so many cookbooks and it's just like, what do I feel like exploring now? I know I've got that cookbook. Pull that down. It's, oh, yeah, that. And
Yes.
two, reading them as just like books, that was like a thing my mom did. She had a massive cookbook collection and she really would just sit down and just read them. Some of them, I don't think she ever cooked anything out of them. She liked the story. She liked to learn
Yeah.
combinations. She was really like a dump cook. I think she got inspired more
Yeah.
than she used recipes,
I
so to
like
speak.
that. But that's part of the reason why I want to write the book because originally when I do the recipes, it's all about the recipe itself with a picture of the thing. But I would love to put in some of the stories of where the recipes came from
Yes.
and what I was thinking
Yes.
and how it was developed. Because a lot of these are original recipes that over time, yes, I was inspired from my aunt and all these different people.
Yes.
I would love to give the backstory and maybe inspire somebody to try something
Yes.
different.
And like for me, the first cookbook that I published was our family cookbook. And
Send
the
me the link to
original,
that because I would be all about that.
oh, it's so good. It's so much fun. And like my mom and I, we did a first edition, we call it a first edition, that was printed at Kinko's back in the day, back in the like the 80s. And I was like a late teenager. I'm just like, Mom, you have so many fantastic recipes, all these recipe cards, things you come up with, and just fantastic things. Me and Betsy are leaving the house soon. Let me just capture your recipes. And so like over the course of the next year, I captured her recipes. She was the dump cook, and I was kind of like watching, okay, that would be a teaspoon, that would be a that. And
Yeah.
then I would try to replicate them. And we had like limited stories in that one. But then I actually published it on Amazon. I
I'm
can't
going
remember.
to buy it. What is the name of it?
I think it's called, I have different ideas in my head. Mom's Best Served Almost Daily. In that one, that's where I really added the stories. We had like small stories in our original Kinko's published version,
Yeah.
small stories. But then I wanted to make this truly like our family cookbook.
What a
And
gift.
it was so cool. I had so much fun. For one thing, we had like more
Can
generations.
you
I
see? Is
can't
that it?
quite see. Yep, that's it.
Perfect. Thank
That's
you.
it.
I'm buying it now.
And thank you. Thank you very much.
And thank you.
I hope you enjoy it.
I
And
definitely
so like,
will.
I built in all these like backstories, like for the major cooks of each generation, because it has four generations of cooks. For the big cooks and bakers, they each got their own little page. Introduction to the cook. And then the each recipe you'll see some of them there's more story than recipe because of some of these just have meant so much to our family, or they just come through the generations. And I even shared, like, I did have a specialty food store in Fort Bragg,
Yes.
and me and my ex-husband, ex-husband, not deceased husband, we actually made our own mixes for like breads and rices, things that are easily to
So
just like dump
cool.
in dry things. And
Yeah.
I actually have some of our store's recipes in there too. So it was just like a fun thing to just really pull together all the
That is
cooking.
awesome. I
And
love that.
it's like over 500 pages if you can.
I can't wait to get it. I'm so excited. And I'm going to put the link to it in the show notes too, so other people can get it too.
Cool.
Because if you're a cookbook lover, it's always great to have family cookbooks. Always. That's part of a huge part of my collection. I get church cookbooks and stuff like that. Even if I don't want to make the recipes, I like the stories. So I always
Yes.
pick them up. And usually when you go to garage sales, they're like super cheap. Then I end up with bags of them and everybody just shakes their head at me as they walk by. I'm like, shh, don't say anything. I'm buying them.
If this is my worst fault, I'm doing good.
Sometimes I have to hide my new purchases though. But I have released some out on eBay that I've resold and got rid of that if I knew I wasn't going to use it. So
Right.
I'm like,
Good
okay,
idea.
I'm to bless someone else with this sucker.
I like that. Bless somebody else with it.
Yeah.
Oh, and just FYI, there's one of the reviews for that cookbook that just always touches me. And sometimes when you're having a day you're not feeling so good, it's one that I go to. And this guy just wrote the most beautiful thing. He said, I was expecting a family cookbook with just like a few recipes. He says, but I feel like the family just invited me in to sit at their
Oh,
table. I'm
yes,
like,
that's the best. And that's how I feel about when I cook on YouTube. I feel like I get to know the people that comment or that jump on the lives. And I love it. I just love it. I love teaching cooking, baking, all that stuff. And
oh, that's so clear.
I genuinely, the first YouTube channel I have, I didn't even show my face. It was just like neck down. And it used to take me hours to upload because we had like dial up. And so it took forever to upload. And hey, Cranky Toes, my granddaughter, it would take a long time to upload. But I told my kids, I'm doing this so that when I die, you know how to make this stuff. Look, this is a real life podcast. Say hello, Miss Jamie. Hi.
Hi, sweetie.
Yeah, I didn't want to be
Hello.
alone. She's getting a
Hello.
new tooth and she's cranky. Oh,
Oh, that'll do it.
I'm getting a little cranky. Got the big droolies. Huh.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But now my kids have the recipes and they still don't bake anything and they cook their own stuff. But maybe someday my grandchildren will be like,
Maybe,
that was my grandma.
yeah, maybe she will be the big cook and baker in the family. You
It's the
never know.
legacy of it all. That's the cool part.
Yes,
Aside from the fact
yes,
that I've met tons of cool people by doing it, people from around the world commented on my sugar cookie recipe, for instance. And it's just so cool. I just think that's the neatest thing. Now,
yes,
even though I eat
yes,
more healthy stuff now, that stuff's still a part of my heart.
of course.
Ah,
And it's so nice to be able to put whatever out there and that people like love it. They respond to it. It helps to
and
feed your energy to keep
yeah,
doing it.
and it's so much better than what you buy at the store because you
Oh my
already know
gosh.
what's in there. You can buy freshly milled flour and you can buy unsalted butter and you can buy real vanilla. When you look on the back of a package of a store-bought cookie, it's like a science experiment. It's crazy. I don't even know what half the stuff is.
Yeah,
So
pronounce it, let alone what it is.
I think like I feel like I become family with the people that are trying the recipes and talk back and forth to me, asking questions. Although I have to admit, I was looking at an old recipe today and somebody left a comment from 7 years ago and I never responded. I was like, oh, so sorry. But I can't catch them all.
Oh, no,
And we
you
were just
can't.
talking about that. I'm like, oh yeah, 3 years took me to respond. This one's 7. I'm like, sorry.
That's amazing that you've had a channel for that long, though. That's
Oh, I
really
think it was
cool.
11 years ago I started that channel. Yeah. This is a
Oh,
different channel here
wow.
because this is more on the healthy side. That was all pure sugar. Lots of sugar. It has its place too. But I'm
Our
really
problem
looking
is we
forward to
eat
work.
it all the time. You know, that's when it's a problem.
Exactly. I am really looking forward to working with you on this book. And I thank you for constantly inspiring me to write and do better
Thank
and
you.
read more and learn about money and all the wonderful ways you bless everybody. If
Oh,
y'all
thank you.
really, if you are into reading or you're into writing, Jaimie Bee is your gal. She is amazing. And I'm really thank
Thank
you for
you.
taking your time. I know you could be doing anything right now, And so I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us and really keep us inspired.
Oh,
I can't
good.
wait to
I
get the
hope it
cookbook.
does.
I'm going to do a review on the cookbook when it comes in. I'm going to make a bunch of
Yay.
recipes too.
Oh, fun. If you have any questions, don't hesitate
Oh,
to reach out.
I'm going to get you on there. We're going to talk live about it too. So we're going to do it. We're going to make a recipe and
Ooh,
it'll be fun.
fun. I
Maybe
love
Judy
it.
will make. Judy, you going to help me make the recipe? Huh? Help me make the
She's like, she'll
recipe?
be cheering you on. She'll cheer you
Oh,
on.
yeah. Ronan loves to make cookies. But he wants to eat the cookie dough all the time. Wait, put eggs in there. Hold on. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. And for our audience, thank you for joining us. I hope that you've gotten something out of our discussion as well, because Jaimie is amazing and you should join her groups and get to know all the fun stuff that she does, because activating the writer within keeps me really motivated. So I thank you so much again.